just, I got no, yeah.
Serious kind of guy.
No, I'll explain, I'll explain this.
Okay. You see, you're still frustrated over the phone call. Okay, so we're back again, basically in the same two seats. We could have switched to mess you guys up, but we didn't. We're going to talk about the next set of lessons, which is a private lesson.
Ah, okay.
Which is Ted went with the pros on that, so I'm gonna go with the pros. Ted go with the cons on this one, opposite of what we just did with the groups.
Okay.
So a private lesson. What's the great part about a private lesson? It's just you and me, just the two of us, and it makes it a lot easier for you to get the attention you need.
Yeah.
Provided that the person you're out with can give you that attention. It does cost you more money, but value for money at some areas where it isn't exorbitantly high, unless you're extremely rich and you just want a Powerball, it doesn't bother you to spend $1 million because you got billions. That would be a plus if you can afford it, and you're going to get more attention individually. That's a definite plus. You're also could be getting more information, and should be, and your instructor giving a private lesson should be a higher qualified instructor.
Yeah.
Should be.
Yeah.
Should be, and we hope that all areas can do that. But other than that,
that put quote marks around your friend.
yeah. So give me some cons then. Won't be as many.
No, but at that's a biggie. You want if you're going to do a one-on-one kind of thing, you'd really want your instructor to know what they're on about.
Right.
And
so maybe describe that a little bit.
Well, vocabulary can be one. I mean, you could get a very good snowboarder, somebody who snowboards quite well, and has no ability to communicate. And
you mean as a instructor or
in an instruction coach way. It's like, watch me do what I do might not be your learning style. Maybe you're listening to something and the guy says, you have to have more pop here, or you have to, and he uses a term and you go, I don't know what that means. Then you got a problem. And if the instructor isn't aware that you don't speak snowboardese, you
don't speak the dialogue.
You're in trouble, you know.
Because you don't say enough like that was sick.
Yeah, you don't know
or whatever.
And the other, and this is an assessment of yourself. How do you learn? You know, are you a good student? I mean, as an instructor, the best thing in the world is a student who's attentive and, you know, athletic and can do this and do that. And you show them and they do one and they go, oh, aha. And it's like, and the lesson just, it's amazing. And that would be a pro lesson. That's a good.
So
a con would be the opposite. Oh, yeah, that was well done. No, it wasn't. And no instruction.
So we take that person who was in a group lesson, who felt like they were standing out with failure, they probably would be more suited to be in a private.
Yeah.
Because their self-esteem can come up. They get more hands-on attention, etc. So we can't run that a long way, but basically the outcome on a private lesson is almost, I'm going to say, probably 95% sure that you're going to come out with a good outcome.
Yeah.
And another reason for that is because in a private lesson, they're going to help you establish your goals.
Yeah.
In a group lesson, they're going to try to establish goals for the group.
Yeah, it's a global.
And because we have so many different ways the roof goes in a group, it's much harder for anybody to do that.
Yeah.
No matter how much book training they've had or haven't had. So private lessons can be a better value for money if you can afford the cost of the private.
I had, this is in my instruction, I had a guy say to me that you go out with that examiner over there, and it was the one particular fella, and he said, he's so good It's like going out snowboarding with Yoda. He says, he says, you'll be out doing something and the guy will come back and he'll go, "Do you notice this? You notice that?" And if you answer him yes, he'll go, "Well, do this, try this." And it's like, oh my goodness. And this is how the guy instructed. It was like little tweaking on borders that were not, and those were accomplished borders. Those we're not talking about a beginner lesson there.
In a private lesson, what is going on more that is going on not as much in a group lesson?
There's a lot more motion analysis.
There's a lot more dialogue.
There's a lot more dialogue
available
Yeah.
between the student and the instructor.
Yeah.
So that dialogue helps with what Ted talked about a minute ago, which was the understanding of the terms, of the use, etc. Now you're as a student or whatever, what helps you when you receive information to progress? As if, well, you and I go out, it's a one-on-one.
Yeah.
So you say to me, I say to you, so there's a transfer of thought, and then there's a conglomeration of the idea, there's a movement to see if it worked, and there's a discussion on the movement.
Yeah.
There's so much more that can be done
We pick over
in that private session.
Yeah.
Under no stress to you.
No.
But what does it require for the instructor? What would be the best thing for the instructor is to have what kind of a student?
A curious, motivated student.
Yes.
And motivation is the biggie.
Who also brings with them a lot of prior knowledge and body experience.
Yes. Yes.
More so than just the academic thinking. Body.
We have also seen people, it's like, oh, it snowed, and I thought trying to learn how to snowboard would be a good idea.
Okay.
And it's like, it might have been if you had done some exercise in the last 6 months.
Yeah. So I had a student, a quick story, who went out on 3 private lessons. Well, two private lessons. And each time he came back, the director said, "How'd it go?" And yesterday, he couldn't do anything. I couldn't get him to do anything. He finally said, "Jim, take this guy out and teach him to snowboard." He said, "and good luck." So I take the guy out, and I get out, and I come back, and I'm all smiled. Well, the other 2 guys were like, "Oh man, glad you got him," because it didn't work. So I said, so he goes, "Well, what did you do?" I go, "What do you mean, what did you do?" He snowboarded. He did great. He goes, "How did you do that?" I go, "Well, first I asked him what he did for a living." He goes, "Well, what does he do for a living?" I said, he works on, he's a carpenter. He works on angles and degrees, and he cuts stuff and all that stuff.
Right.
He said, "So what'd you do?" I said, "Well, he knows angles." I said, "I want 45 degrees turned this way, 45 degrees turned that way. I want an upright angle that's 90 degrees between your body and the board, and let's go ride." And he went, "Oh, I get it." The other guys used all of, "I want your knees over your toes, I want you to turn your head, rotate this, that." He didn't get any of it. And he went, "That's amazing." I said, "Yeah, well, knowing what somebody does, relating your information back to them in a way that they already use every day in their life is a win." And that's what private lessons are about.
Yeah, you got it.
We are not
communicate.
there to teach you the book or take something from, we take the information from the book for ourselves. But when we put it out to you, we have to put it out in a way that relates to everything you brought with you. You have a lot of experience. When you come to snowboard, it's not your first time being in any of these positions.
Right.
It is the first time that you're slipping and sliding in those positions, but everything else you've done before. So we're going to break on that and stop. So that's our input. Let's add one more.
One other idea while we're at that is when we go and do something and then I go read about it, it's like I might be doing something and not understanding it. And then I go read an explanation of it, and then I can put the two together. Maybe. And that's how I learn. Another person might come to this completely differently. And again, seeing these conditions where, a beginner riding up the chair is on a YouTube video trying to figure out how to get off the chair. You know, and it's like, now's not the time to be looking at the YouTube. Experience it, good, bad, or indifferent, and then maybe go and get a recap on what you did, so now you get a chance to think about it as you calm down. There's no
So we'll summarize it by saying your group lessons are a plan the instructor has for all of you. A private lesson is a plan you bring to the instructor for him to help you with. So we're out on that. Hope you like it. Stay with us. Hit the like button, subscribe button, and follow along.
Okay.